Hey there, welcome to episode 142 of the FFS Talk audio program. I am your host, as usual, Dan Hugo. We're recording this at 9:04 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time here in Greater Vegas on Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Today's title and topic, so many platforms. If you're not familiar with the FFS Talk audio program, you've come to the right place. The idea is to have conversations, discussions. Sorry, I need to get some water. Oh no, I don't have any water. Conversations, discussions, debates, arguments about various topics. It's a 3-section format to start: what works, what does not, and what we might do about it. Thus far, we're on episode 142 today. There have been no guests, mostly because I haven't really been trying to find guests. I find it is easier to offer opinions for people to consume, and then maybe at some point someone might say, I would like to counter that. I would like to have a conversation about that. I would like to debate that topic. Hopefully it doesn't get more heated than that. So 142 seeds planted for future conversations with others. That's how I look at it. If you're not familiar with what FFS stands for, you need to hang out with more Irish people. Hopefully, wherever you found this audio program, you're able to locate the episode description, which contains the show notes, including a brief summary, which I will read to you. And the links for today, they're just the normal links. I was going to try to find a list of social media platforms, but you probably are more familiar with what's going on today than I am. I try to stay out of that business at this point. So many platforms. So let's get on with the show so we can get on to a cooler Thursday. The weather is no longer quite so hot. I think we made it through, which is nice. That's the weather report. The summary of today's episode. As a follow-on to the handle grab episode a couple weeks ago, is it a good thing to have so many social media platforms and to keep track of them to engage fans and customers? In other words, do you have to maintain all of the social media platform usernames so that people can interact with you? Or should you own your own brand? Hint. The links, as usual, the FFS Talk homepage, ffstalk.com. It kind of looks like FF Stalk. You can pronounce it however you like. Ideally, that will be where we engage people to have guests. I don't know if people would actually engage that. I don't get much web traffic, so I really haven't prioritized. I've talked about this in previous episodes. The website needs to be more functional and more attractive, visually attractive, and accessible, of course. But there's very few visitors, very little web traffic. So it hasn't been super prioritized. But I would imagine that's where people would indicate interest in continuing a conversation. The profile page linking everything at buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo. I've had that page. It was 5 years in March, so like 5.5 years now. You don't have to spend any money if you visit there. You don't actually have to buy me a coffee. But you can find links to all of my various audio and whatever other programs, media productions that I publish. You can also find project links. You can find affiliate links. There's some biographical information. The affiliate links are for things I actually use, like coffee beans, for example. If you click on any of the affiliate links and buy something, I don't even know how much I get, pennies, but all funds raised through this platform and Ko-fi.com go towards coffee or coffee accessories. It's what's powering all of these activities. You can also find the Buy Me an Update audio program on Monday mornings, published first at buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo/posts. I called it Buy Me an Update because I was publishing it there exclusively. No partnership or affiliation. Just seemed to fit. Buy Me an Update, Buy Me a Coffee. Sure. But nobody goes to Buy Me a Coffee to listen to podcasts. So I publish it there first, and then it is published in the usual places after. But that's published every Monday mornings. That's where it comes from. Buy Me an Update, 5 minutes. The previous week's audio program topics and news and announcements. 5 minutes. How can you go wrong? You can use the treadmill for one episode of Buy Me an Update, and you'll be good. All right, I paused and I got some water. So we're good. On with the show. What works? There is something for everyone, as you may have heard in your travels. Whatever it is, there's a flavor of ice cream for everyone. There's a movie for everyone. Whatever it is. Maybe you want to connect with others around photos, around restaurants, around social issues, politics, movies. The list goes on and on and on. Where online to meet up for such topics, and what if you identify one platform and a group on that platform there? Okay, great. But then find a better fit on another platform with another group. So choice is a good thing. And so there's not a all or nothing. There are too many platforms. There's something out there for everyone. You may find a group on Reddit. May find a group on, like a WhatsApp chat or something, or both, right? So it's not all or nothing in general. So choice is good. An embarrassment of riches, as one might say. For those content creators out there, myself included, there are opportunities to engage with a cross-section of a variety. With a cross-section of a variety of personalities by going where the fans hang out at a platform level, such that if some of your audience hangs out on Twitter or X, great. Another fraction on Blue Sky, okay. Maybe a subreddit with your name on it, and so on. So there's all these spots that people might gather virtually to converse, to complain. Who knows? Probably complain. There are many more niche platforms, and within them, more than I've just mentioned. There's plenty. And within them, potential for particular groups or channels or whatever the case may be. And they may be talking about you or your product or service, your business, your content creation efforts, etc. All you need to do is establish your own presence on each platform for direct engagement. So as long as, if there were an FFS talk on subreddit, or I have a Reddit account. I've had the Reddit account for over a decade. I think I've posted once. But if you do listen to the handle grab episode, which I will refer to shortly, there was a time when, Reddit, I got to get my name on there. Twitter, got to get my name on there. Instagram, got to get my name on there, whatever it was. So I had all these accounts on all these platforms and I never used them. So I have all kinds of karma points for being on Reddit for so long, but I think I have posted once, possibly twice. It's more interesting that I'm able to read groups without, you have an account, so you don't have to deal with some of the filtering that they do and whatnot. So you got to have an account on all these different platforms to participate, or so people can tag you and reference you and at you. We're getting into the next section already. Final point on what works. Presence on various platforms is part of the engagement process. In some cases, actually hosting audience communities on Discord, for example, or more recently in a Substack or Ghost group or channel. What do they call them? A Substack? I think they just call it, you have a Substack. So you can publish, or maybe you have a company, a publication of some sort with multiple authors. So people out in the world can receive your newsletter content, and then they can engage often there. And maybe there's that subreddit that you can host or moderate, or however that works. So you can basically oversee the My Company subreddit. You can draw individuals already using these platforms into your own communities within with their existing login credentials. That was always the appeal of some of these platforms, is once you have a Facebook login, once you are on LinkedIn, once you are already using Discord, you can come and join our group, join our page, join our Discord server, etc., etc. So you take advantage of the frictionless building of your own audience communities on these existing platforms, and that's plural, right? So you can wander around and start building platforms building communities, quote unquote communities, on these other platforms for the benefit of someone. What does not work? If you did happen to come across episode 139 handle grab of this program, about the rush whenever a new platform launches to grab your existing handle that you have on other platforms. Get some water here. So you can have the same name got to have the same name across all the platforms. Well, the corollary to consider, if you launch some new thing, like if I want to launch a new product or service or business or YouTube channel or whatever, I want to have some sort of a brand or some sort of a recognizable name. Now I got to go wandering around and find out which are the most popular platforms. I got to secure that name. Then I got to start promoting it. So I am now promoting all these other platforms so that people can find me. So you gotta do that across multiple platforms. You know that this can be tedious even when everything works out. Oh no, somebody already has my name on X, but I can get my name on Blue Sky because there are fewer people. So now you got to manage, on this platform I'm this, on this platform I'm that. Suddenly you must scramble to actively share your brand with other platforms, in some cases monetizing your audience and your efforts their benefit. Another person joining, insert platform name so that they can draw more people to staying on our platform so we can monetize that. Who wins? There is value in going to where the customer is, and that's not really a question. Sometimes this is absolutely the smart move. Food trucks, for example, benefit from this approach. One of the reasons they're mobile, after all, to find their markets. So you can figure out where across a city or a county or whatever, where people are drawn to you the most, assuming that they know that you're there. And so you go where they are. And as any business real estate person knows, it's location, location, location. So here you get to change the location and figure out what that location needs to be for the maximal business success possibilities. However, if you are building a brand offering something like video or other content or some other product or service, ideally your audience, your customers would want to come and find you within reason. So it's still location, location, location. If there's demand, they will come and find you. Does your favorite barista visit all of the coffee shops, or do you visit the shop where your favorite barista works? So it kind of depends. Virtual locations, websites, platforms, groups, pages, all this stuff. The effort required to visit those is very small. If there's a login required, then it becomes that's where you need to go where they are, because I got to log into another account. I got to create another username. These are all things that people actually are concerned about, and I can't argue with that. There is a sort of a sign-up fatigue. It kind of goes along with the handle grab. While platform diversity can be a guard against cancellation, right? If I'm on 10 platforms and 2 of them decide that they don't like what I'm posting, or somebody complains, or whatever it is, I might not have access to those 2, but I still have the other 8. The cancellation problem can be a problem, if it is a problem. Who writes this? Because of the sharing of the brand. You've shared your brand, right? This may not apply to Toyota, but it might apply to me or you. You've shared your brand with an X or a Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. Some meta property nowadays, that's about it. You might be dropped from YouTube or Blue Sky or wherever, and you risk losing the fans and customers who are engaging you or your brand exclusively through that platform. In other words, I only know their Twitter handle or X handle. I only know their Facebook page. Well, if you disappear from there, they may or may not know where to find you in general. Owning your engagements by way of your own platform makes a lot more sense when you think about it this way. Does that make sense? What can we do about it? Well, the easy answer is to always point your audience back to your home base, which is ideally a domain online, which you own and control, and if appropriate, a physical location or locations where they can visit you in person, regardless of the status of your accounts and presence on particular platforms elsewhere. So if Adpocalypse makes the YouTube channel, if there's another Adpocalypse, too expensive to maintain, so you can no longer really publish there, you may not lose your account, but people stop visiting your site. Google, YouTube stops recommending you, and you stop publishing content. So if publishing content becomes too expensive and you're not generating revenue for it, then you may have to curtail your YouTube posts. So your entire YouTube audience may not visit you there anymore, right? So how do they find you? They stopped getting recommendations, and they may or may not have been subscribed, if I can speak. Uh, and I don't know about you, but if you subscribe to like 1,000 channels on YouTube, what was the name of that channel that I thought I was interested in, but they stopped? Right. So you don't necessarily have a firm grasp of the relationship with your customers, your followers, your fans, whatever it is. Those platforms, especially now, should always be vectors pointing back to you and your site, so you can always be found. So in other words, I always want people to know that they can find me at FFS Talk, whether or not they are following the FFS Talk YouTube channel, or they've subscribed to the RSS feed through Spotify or through Apple what is it? I don't know, do they call it Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts? I can't remember. Or any number of other platforms, right? So, in fact, one of the things that's interesting about podcast distribution is that you can appear on multiple websites that are aggregating podcasts or links to podcasts, right? Like, I don't have to download a podcast to my site to host a directory of podcast episodes or channels, right? So I can just point back to their sites of origin. That seems like a good idea. You can do both. And there have been some efforts with Adam Curry pursuing his podcast index project where you can say, hey, don't copy the file. Always send them back to if I'm remembering correctly, always send a podcatcher to the source of the audio file. Don't copy and redistribute. It's a small matter, but it could make a difference to some people, so it's nice that that's an option. It would be interesting to see if that distribution model can continue to evolve in other ways, so that we're not tied completely to individual platforms. Federation. In the modern era of federation and decentralization are re-entering the conversation. If reaching out to other platforms makes sense, it may make even more sense if those platforms are federated, so that your audience can engage with your brand across AT-Proto or ActivityPub, maybe something else. AT-Proto and ActivityPub are not new idea. Well, they're new implementations, but they're not brand new ideas in and of themselves. Decentralization is not a brand new idea. Email. Whatever the case, if I can engage with my ActivityPub server with your ActivityPub server, so I have an account on one, you have an account on another. If we can interact without having to go get, I must sign up on your server in order. No, you don't have to do that anymore. We can each hang out where we want to and still interact. So my server may have some appeal, my quote unquote, my preferred server, whether it's mine or not, but it could be mine. You can self-host your ActivityPub server, for example, and your fans and customers can engage with you from their own Mastodon or Lemmy or PixelFed server account, whatever. And they can also self-host theirs. Now you don't have to do handle grabs and whatnot, without so much time spent securing handles and handing over branding to third parties. We have the technology. Finally, I hold a strong opinion that handing over our online presence as creators or businesses or as individuals engaging with others has been a massive error over the decades, that taking back and maintaining our own online presence is essential. And as it happens, enough people agree with this notion that capable, functional, and generally available tools, methods, and ideas are there for your future autonomous self. Sticking with the awful platforms because everybody else is, well, that is not how we make things better. Status quo and improvement are two different things. So yeah, I would like to see more adoption of federation, decentralization in general. It's not too complicated. It's not too troubling. There are enough people getting behind this that it's now possible with almost none or zero investment of your money and probably time. You don't necessarily need to maintain your own server. PixelFed. I don't like Instagram. Well, PixelFed. I don't like YouTube so much. Okay, PeerTube. These are decentralized platforms that can interoperate to various degrees across the ActivityPub protocol. So that's one way. AT-Proto, the Blue Sky scheme, is another. There are bridges to join them. This will all kind of sort itself over time as people realize, you know what, having two different things that don't talk to each other is the same problem we've had this whole time. So, so there are bridges. The efficiency of having to like capture and store 10 times as much data for AT Proto servers is something that, well, I'm sure will get sorted eventually, or one will win, or who knows. But the idea, though, is to not have to do the handle grab so much anymore. I guess the same applies to domains. It used to be that getting the .com was the first step. Like, oh, I have a new company. Got to get newcompany.com. So with new top-level domains, that's a little bit easier, but still, it's kind of a pain. But do people still type in those names anymore? Does it really matter? As long as some AI search bot can scrape your website, does it really matter at all anymore? Yeah, there's still brand recognition, but generally speaking, the website is one point of contact. And if you can make that your primary point of contact, then you don't have to worry so much about the handle grabs and the variations of handle names, and then somebody stealing and squatting on your, sorry, I already have, I think I always use Toyota as an example. I already have Toyota on newplatform.org. Sorry. So you don't have to worry about that so much, as long as there's an authoritative landing place like, oh, okay, Toyota.com. I know that's Toyota. They have a SSL certificates and all this other stuff. Actually, to be honest, domain name validation could be better, but it is one single point that one can own. And so we kind of get away from this platform proliferation, which has been a problem for decades. But yeah, I've been kicked off of one platform. That shouldn't be a problem anymore. This is the modern era. There are ways to get around this. We are handing over too much power. I don't mean to get political here, but you are handing over too much power in the form of your brand identity, your customers and followers. There have been countless stories of people's accounts on YouTube being closed. So what happens to all the people that were following you, all of your fans and followers, and in some cases, supporters, sponsors? You're just gone. And so there should always be a homepage that people can bookmark, and people should always be reminded, don't forget, bookmark my homepage, bookmark my website, bookmark my the presence that I have control over, that I'm very unlikely to be kicked off of. So yeah, I think it's kind of time to move in that direction. That's what I would like to see. So that's what I'm suggesting we can do about all of this, is to take back your presence online. And that's where we're going to leave it today. Today was kind of a brief episode, but that's okay. Not everything is an argument with myself. And now I'll get back to work in a cool, what's the temperature right now is 84 degrees or 81, depending on which service you're getting your weather data from. That's much nicer than 90. But what was it last week? At this time, it would be 93, 94. So I'll take the 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That'll be fine. On that note, thank you for listening. As always, don't forget to check out buymeacoffee.com/Dan Hugo for links to all of my other programs. Check them out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you want to, wherever you consume your podcasts and audio programs. I'm going to start including a link for all of my programs too. I think the website is called pod.link. Is that correct? Do I have a web browser open? No, of course not. I think it's pod.link. And so I'll start including that in everything. That's a place where you can find, if you use an application on your phone, maybe there's desktop versions or, computer versions. Some are browser-based, whatever, but to find and subscribe to programs. So someone has created a service that grabs all the channels and figures out which platforms are hosting that channel. So you link directly to, not to, what's a good one? I cannot remember any podcast clients. There's Gpotter is one. Oh, here's the FFS talk on Gpotter if you want to use that endpoint as a subscription source. So somebody has built that. Very nice. That link is available on Podcast Index, by the way. And I should include a link to that. So the Buy Me a Coffee profile page needs to have a few more links added to enable discovery more easily. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do. But luckily, I don't have to do it across 25 different social media platforms. FFStalk.com, the reason that exists is to have a place where you can always find me, even relying on Spotify as a sort of a publication gateway platform can be problematic. Sometimes Spotify has bugs or their site goes down for a while. That should not be the gating factor whether I can publish this content or any other for anyone. Anyone should be able to publish when they are able, not when some other service is able. Okay, that seems like enough for today on a nice Thursday morning. Take care and be well, and be sure and listen to my various other audio programs if you find them interesting. And we'll catch you next week here or somewhere at your discretion. Take care now. Bye-bye.